guys, it's Izzy, and in today's video I am going to be recommending some cozy winter reads. These are not Christmas reads, these are just books that I think over like December, New Year's, January, when you just want to be like cozy and warm and just be sucked into a book, these are the ones you should be sucked into. So that's what we're going to be recommending today. No, I have not got any Christmas decorations, but I am wearing the most garish Christmas jumper I could find. So that's as good as we're going to get. Look at it, isn't it? Look, it's got reindeers and Christmas trees and Santa and presents. So like, I've gone full Christmas, and who knows, maybe we'll get some tinsel out. I just wanted to say thank you so much for 300 subscribers. That like blows my mind. Like, I don't know 300 people, I don't know, like 30 people, so you know, that's a lot of people, and I just want to thank every single one of you. I love you all, and I'm so blessed to have so many people who want to watch this, because I didn't think one person would. So thanks for sticking around. But without further ado, let's get on to some winter reads. The first book I'm going to recommend, which is an Izzy classic and also features some great Christmas scenes, so it is kind of Christmassy, and that is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. I'm going to try and go through these books quickly and not ramble on about them, but just know I love them all, that's why I'm recommending them. This is a middle grade fantasy book about our main character Morrigan Crow. She is counted as a cursed child because of when she was born, and everything that goes wrong in her town is blamed on her. And one day, when on her, is it her 12th? 13th birthday? Her 11th birthday, wow, I'm so great at remembering things. On her 11th birthday, she is supposed to die on her 11th birthday, which, that was cheery. But on her 11th birthday, just as she's thinking she's a goner, she is taken away by a man named Jupiter North, who takes her to Nevermore to compete in trials to become part of the Wondrous Society, which is like the best thing you can be in Nevermore. It's whimsical, it's magical, it's kind of Christmassy, and it's just cozy and lovely and just gives you all the warm feelings, and I love it so much. And the second book, Wondersmith, is just as good, so you've got two books there to keep you going through those cold winter nights. Unless you live in Australia, then I guess, you know, read summer books. The next three books I'm going to put in the same category, and that is like cozy murder mystery, if you're into that kind of thing, which I guess isn't like fun, but I do like a bit of a murder mystery in the winter. So three great murder mysteries which are not like horror or like thrillers, they're just like proper murder mysteries. And the first one is a classic, and that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This book follows Poirot, the detective in most of Agatha Christie books. He is on a train with 12 other people. There's like 12 people, and someone dies, and basically he has to figure out on this train, while they're still all on this train, who the murderer is, which is unsettling because you're on a train with the murderer and you can't get off the train. So you can see why that wouldn't be great for Poirot, so he wants to solve that mystery. So basically there's 12 suspects and he has to figure out who did it. It's a classic murder mystery, it's a great one. I'm a big Agatha Christie fan, and sure, this is a classic, but it's maybe her best. I love it. So the next murder mystery book I'm going to recommend is A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallero. This is a series, but I've only read the first book, that follows two main characters, Charlotte Holmes and Jamie Watson, and they are the descendants of Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, and they go to the same school together, to this boarding school, and they start to be framed for murders that correspond with the murders from Sherlock Holmes' original mysteries. So someone is recreating the mysteries and murders from the Sherlock Holmes original stories and framing Charlotte and Jamie for them. So they need to find out who's doing it so that they cannot be framed for it. Another great one. And the final one is another series, and that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is a series. The first 2 books are out and the third and final book is coming out in January, so you know, you've got all winter long to enjoy this mystery. I didn't personally love the first book, but I know most people did, but I loved the second book, so I think it's worth a read. This is basically a book that is set at a school that's like this really prestigious school where like children who are prodigies go. So if you are really good at a specialist subject, you can go there and kind of learn school stuff but like really focus on your specific skill set. So we follow our main character who goes there because she is like really into true crime and is like a detective kind of at, you know, 16. And basically like 50 years ago, I think, when the school was open before, the man who runs the school, his wife and child were kidnapped and never found, and so the school shut for like 50 years, and this is the first year it's been open. Our main character comes to the school and decides that for her like project she is going to solve what happened like 50 years ago to the wife and daughter of this man who like created this school. So it's a pretty good murder mystery. I think the first book was too slow, but the second book was really great, and I'm really excited for the third book. So if you want a mystery series to keep you going through the winter, then I highly recommend this one as well. So, you know, for you mystery fans, go for any of these, they're all great. Then the next book I have to recommend is Lovely War by Julie Berry, and this book is about, it's set in World War II kind of, but half of it's set in World War II and half of it is set with Greek gods. So Aphrodite is basically put on trial because she was caught cheating on her god husband Hephaestus, and basically while she's on trial she's like, look, let me tell you the stories of these like 2, like the greatest love stories, and then we'll see what happens at the end of this like trial that they're on. So we sort of switch between this Greek god trial and these 2 love stories happening in World War II, and it's just such a like, it's a great historical fiction novel, it's a great romance novel, and it's just such a book that you get so wrapped up in that you can just kind of like just read it and be transported. It's just a beautiful book and I highly recommend it. Next book I recommend is I Will Always Write Back, and this is actually a non-fiction book, but if you need something to warm your cold dark soul, this is it. This is a non-fiction about 2 teenagers who become pen pals. One, a girl called Caitlin who lives in America, and the other, a boy called Martin who lives in Africa, and basically they start correspondence, become like really good friends between these letters, and we sort of switch between the letters they send to each other and like general prose about their lives, and we sort of see the difference between Caitlin, who is living well off in America, and Martin, who is living in poverty in Africa, and they just start to like change each other's lives, and it's such a stunning, beautiful book, and really like fills your heart with, you know, hope for humanity, which is what we all need around Christmas. Is, wow, some people are good, and it's lovely. So if you need something to just like be a light in your life, then this is definitely the book to read. The next book I have to recommend is The Quiet at the End of the World by Lauren James. This book I think not many people have read, but I read a few months ago and just was so taken aback by how much I enjoyed it, and how like quiet, no pun intended with the title, and just how quiet it was in its loveliness and its beautifulness and its, philosophicalness, and it just again really transports you. This follows two characters, Lowry and Shen, and they are the last teenagers in the world. Basically a virus swept the entire world, leaving everyone infertile. So there were eggs like frozen, and so like every few years they would allow another child to be born, trying to like prolong the human race. And yeah, this follows the last two teenagers left, Lara and Shen, and their families, who are quite old now, and how they kind of deal with the fact that they are the end of the human race. And it's definitely not as depressing as it sounds. It's just a really beautiful look at humanity, a great concept that I didn't think would be as good as I thought the concept was, but it was executed extremely well, and it was just a really lovely book, and I just think it's definitely worth the read if you want something quite quick but just quite gentle and just again quite warming in the soul. If you're more of a winter fantasy reader, then I recommend Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. I was going to call her Shannon James, but that's because I was thinking of the last author. But this is a very long fantasy series. I think at this point it's 8 books long. I've read the first 2, I own the third, which I plan to read this winter, and it's kind of middle grade, but it's similar to Harry Potter in the fact that with each book the character gets older, the main character gets older, so we kind of mature with her through each book. So this follows our main character Sophie, who lives in the human world. She can hear other people's thoughts, kind of. She has some weird like telepathic powers, and one day this boy comes to get her and is like, surprise, you're an elf. And she has to be taken away from her family, which is really sad, but she gets put under these foster parents in the elf world, who are the loveliest people in the world, and I love them so much, and it's so pure. And she basically is like a bit like Harry Potter in the fact that she's like the chosen one, and she's like very special in the elf world. She has a lot more powers than the other elves do, and basically we follow Sophie as she kind of discovers these different powers and starts to discover like why she wasn't brought up in the elf world and why she's so dangerous. And it's just a really great fantasy read that's not too intense and too graphic and too like stressful. It's just like a really immersive fantasy world, and there's like loads of fantasy creatures. There's like unicorns and dinosaurs and all kinds of stuff, and it's just a really magical book, and again a bit like Nevermore, quite whimsical and magical, and just you know, you get to escape for a good like 500 pages, and yeah, they're just really quick to read, really fast paced, and just a really great time. And if you want to read a fantasy series, you've got a lot to read here because it's so long. Tuck in. That's a weird thing to say about a book, but you get what I mean. The next book I'm going to recommend is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is a book that again is quite gentle and immersive, a really lovely look at like humanity as a whole. This is actually set in space, and basically it follows our main character. I read this a while ago. Is her name Rose? We're just going to call her main character. I think her name is Rose, but I can't remember, so I don't want to be saying Rose the whole time when that's not her name. But we follow our main character as she joins this spaceship crew who basically make like wormholes in space. They basically make like holes in space so you can like travel from one area of space to like another area of space. But that's really not a big part of the book. It's kind of mainly just this woman joining this crew and meeting all these new people and all these new like species of aliens, and learning to love and learning to trust and have friendship, and just yeah, exploring this world that she hadn't really explored before. And it's just really beautiful. It just kind of discusses race and sexism and homophobia in a very interesting way and in a very nuanced way, and not in a like really in your face like depressing kind of way. Like it just kind of explores that in kind of a sci-fi way, which I really enjoyed because I'm a big fan of books that tackle those topics, but it was nice to see it in a way that was kind of made fun because it was to do with like sci-fi and like aliens and stuff. So it was just a really fun, gentle, warming book, again, that you can just kind of get lost in for hours and just come up for air so you can have some hot chocolate and then start reading again. And I also recommend, if you again want something more fantasy, I recommend the Wayward Children series. The first book being Every Heart a Doorway, the second book being Down Among the Sticks and Bones, third book being Beneath the Sugar Sky, and the fourth book being... I was on a roll there remembering all the names. I read it this year and why can't I remember it? This one. This is the one. And personally my favourite is the second book. That's my absolute favourite one. That was definitely the best one in my opinion. You can kind of read these out of order, but I suggest reading them in the order that they are. And this follows basically a school in which children go to when they have come back from magical worlds. So basically, like, if Alice came back from Wonderland and didn't know, like, her parents didn't know what to do with her and she was just so changed and different, or the children came back from Narnia and basically these children who have been to magical worlds which are like tailored for them and have had to come back to the real world and need to like readjust to life and also be around others who have had a similar experience. And it follows this school, and also we then follow like different characters from the school and we see what their world was like, and we see kind of why that was the world that fit them. And yeah, we just explore really interesting worlds, really interesting characters. My only complaint is that they should be longer, but I love them a lot and they are just really transportive books that are perfect for winter. Like, they are peak winter reads. So those are all the cozy winter reads that I recommend you read this winter, because they're all great, which is why I'm recommending them. So I hope you enjoy one of these. I hope that they keep you warm all winter long and keep you entertained during the Christmas break, when maybe you need some alone time from your family. You can enter a new world. You're welcome. But yeah, let me know what your like favourite winter read is. So thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you so much for 300 subscribers. That's just like insane. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful winter. I mean, I'll see you before then, but you know, in case you don't stop by again, I hope you have a wonderful winter, a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful holiday season, and I will see you next time. Bye.